Good evening, Matt Wordsworth with ABC News. Big business and industry will bear the brunt of $1 billion tax grab as Jackie Trad hands down her second budget. The changes include hikes on land tax, gas royalties and payroll tax increases for major companies. The Treasurer also intends to borrow more, which will see debt spiralling beyond a record $90 billion. State political reporter Alison Horne joins us live from Parliament House. Al, how is the Treasurer justifying this?
Well, Matt, Jackie Trad says a key indicator of a healthy economy is jobs. And to create that employment, the government's investing in major infrastructure projects. But we know that sort of work costs a lot of money, and hence the big theme of today's budget, borrow to build. And borrow the state government will do. Currently, the debt level sits at about $70 billion. And to break that down for you, that's more than $15,000 for every single Queensland man, woman and child. It's a staggering amount of money, and it is set to grow. As revealed in the budget today, another $20 billion onto the debt ledger in the next 4 years. Big borrowing, big spending and big taxing. Jackie Trad's second budget firmly targeted at wooing workers in the regions.
Mr Speaker, this is a budget for regional Queensland.
Unsurprisingly, the Treasurer's pitch for job creation is a $50 billion infrastructure spend, although major projects like new roads, the Townsville Stadium and another prison already have been announced. 60% of the building works are outside the southeast, but to fund all that construction, the state will need to borrow more money, plunging the state into a record $90 billion of debt by 2023.
If the government wasn't spending, then the jobs wouldn't be being created.
Labor is borrowing more and building less.
Revenue has taken a major hit, a $1.3 billion natural disaster bill, millions in reduced GST and housing transfer duty is down $1.3 billion. So Jackie Trad is targeting the top end of town with increased taxes. There's also a rise in the land tax surcharge for foreign nationals, and the state's burgeoning LNG market will be whacked too, with a higher royalty rate, altogether raking in more than $1 billion over the next 4 years.
We believe it's time for that industry to do a bit more.
Companies with a wage bill of more than $6.5 million will pay more in payroll tax. That affects about 6,000 businesses. The revenue they raise will help fund concessions for small and regional business operators who won't have to shell out for payroll tax until their wages bill hits $1.3 million. There'll also be a payroll tax rate reduction for predominantly regional employers.
No regional Queenslander today would be looking at a $90 billion tax bomb and a budget that means higher taxes, more debt and less jobs, and think that this is a good budget. It's a bad budget.
But the Treasurer denies she's given up on paying down debt.
The way you reduce debt, as Scott Morrison said, is you grow the economy. You grow the economy and you get more revenue in.
The government's theme for this budget is borrowing to build, unashamedly spending to stimulate what it calls a soft economy. But it's an economy that's expected to grow by 3% in the next financial year. Perhaps boosted by exports from the regional areas the Treasurer has today targeted. Alison Horne, ABC News, Brisbane.